Welcome in for another speed build. Now today you notice my game looks a little different. That's thanks to the African Savanna mod by Nando. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested. I also want to preface this with saying that I forgot I left a K-Hippie terrain mod in, so the grass is going to look a little different about 6 minutes in, but anywho. Hi! Clayton speaking. Welcome to Sticky Sims, where I love to build and play The Sims. Today's build is inspired by a property from South Africa that was sent to me by what I will call my consultant for this build, Chicken Pop Sims, Dear Hen. Helped me out with some pointers to make sure that I wasn't going to put something on this build that would definitely not, be found in a home in Africa. Really, at the end of the day, it's a game, but we want to be mindful, right? Be mindful about certain things. So not to worry, we will be getting rid of the roof shingles and we'll be replacing it with a metal roof. Although I will say, the lot that this was inspired from, or this property that this was inspired from in South Africa, it had a hybrid roof type situation where most of it was a metal roof, but then there was an ending piece that was thatch, and I tried to, emulate that in this build. We did a lot of brick everywhere. I did do a garage kind of skill building room outside, if you will, but something that was really stressed to me is to make sure to put a barbecue area, outdoor dining needed to be a centerpiece of this build. So I made sure to do that here in this little, I don't want to say cabana, but this little outside garage, I guess. Yeah. I'm trying to use terrain, actually use the terrain tools to build up or build down the land more than just kind of painting. The smooth terrain tool is probably my favorite, but anywho. I would say that I gave myself a little bit more time with the reference picture than I normally would allow. I just really wanted to capture the property that I was looking at here in my game. Now, to talk about the house a little bit, it has 2 bedrooms. No, 3 bedrooms. A bathroom in the main house and a bathroom in the little garage on the side. I didn't really create a family to go into this house. I just kind of decorated with what I felt like decorating with, if you feel me. Now, the lot that I was looking at, the reference picture, almost every door that I saw in the pictures were sliding doors. So I did that. And honestly, I really like it. You'll see a little later on, I tried to change the living room up a little bit to give it a little bit of a depth with the floor, but we ended up changing my mind against that, or reverting back to just a single floor height level. I guess technically I could say that this is a family home because I did put a little crib in what I would call mom and dad's room, I guess. It's the larger room that's on the front end of the house. So as far as the house floor plan, now the thumbnail picture is basically of the back, the patio. So entering from the front, you immediately enter in the inside, the dining room with a kitchen to the left. It immediately goes into a living room, sitting room, and then a bar area that leads out into the patio with the pool. At the front door, if you instead take a right out of the dining room, you get on the hallway, and there's a bathroom at the very end, and then 2 bedrooms on the left and 1 on the right. I'm building this amidst the release of the Enchanted by Nature pack, so I did kind of cave and use a couple of things here and there in this build. I want to say I put an apothecary table in the skill building garage, and then I also used the really pretty mirror that we got with that pack. But I feel I was using a lot of Life and Death, Horse Ranch. I used that freeze from Businesses and Hobbies, but that's just one of my favorite freezes, and it kind of went with the brick on this home. Now, in none of the pictures was it really lush as far as the landscaping went, but I guess I kind of just took that little creative liberty because at the end of the day it is just The Sims 4. And who's to say, that the person or sim living here doesn't have a green thumb? I feel like I've kind of been falling in love with the romantic garden stuff all over again. In particular, the statues. I did make sure to use one of them in this build. I mean, I didn't want to be cheesy and use any like animal print things on the wall. Nothing was really like calling to me as far as the house went. I mean, ultimately I was told that for the most part in Africa, they just have a lot of regular suburbs with regular homes. So I didn't want to overthink it, because I do like to do that. Anyways, my biggest hope is that I at least gave this lot enough character to nod and be able to say confidently that it's South Africa inspired. I guess as you watch the house come together, I'll tell you a little bit about this mod and my experience with this African savanna mod that I've implemented. Now, from what I can tell and from playing around with it, it seems to me that the African savanna mod is only really like environmental, and it's only really like for aesthetics, I guess. Like the environment, that's what I should say. It really just completely transforms the environment of Moonwood Mill. There really isn't like any story, gameplay, or anything that's playing into it. Like, I guess at its core, it's still Moonwood Mill. Now, from what I understand, there isn't really like a werewolf type lore in African culture, so this is really mostly just for fun, for imagination. I will say I had a great time building here. I decided for my own little experience and for while I was building here for you guys to watch as well, I was advised that most of the builds that came with the Tartosa world from my wedding stories kind of fit in this world mod. So I did that. There was also a couple builds that I saw from the gallery that I added in that I thought were really cute. And I guess now, you can include this one. I do think it's kind of cool because the pictures from the gallery, I believe, still have the environment of this African savanna. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I didn't use any CC assets in this build. So when I save it to the library and eventually upload it to the gallery, it does not use CC. So it might not look exactly the same if you place it in your game, unless you have the African savanna mod. Now, that said, using the African savanna mod is a little bit more than just dropping it in your mods folder. There are instructions if you go to Nando's Patreon, but also the process is very similar to another one of the world mods that Nando did, and Velvet with 2 T's, B, did a video little tutorial on how to install mods, and you can actually follow that same process, which I kind of did, to install this African savanna mod. Building here and playing around with this world mod definitely just solidified what I was thinking, and now I definitely see it, that this is missing from The Sims 4. We don't have any environments like this. They should definitely consider giving us an African world. It's just lately when they give us a world, they basically give us an entire expansion. So I wonder what they would do. I mean, I guess they technically gave us that kit. Which kit was that? That's kind of but it's more North Africa. God, what kit was that? Here we go. The Courtyard Oasis kit. It was inspired by Moroccan architecture. So yeah, I wasn't completely off. I don't know why I'm sitting here talking about the Courtyard Oasis kit. I didn't really use it in this build, but anywho. Now let's see. Let me pick up where I was in this build. I find myself really trying to force to use outdoor retreat things sometimes, because I did really enjoy playing with that pack in my Pack Legacy Let's Plays, but they're very specific items, and I'm finding that's also kind of the case with the Build By and this new Enchanted by Nature pack, but let me not get carried away. Oh yeah, 2 little base game, I think, lounge chairs, the little palm. I love to add a couple little things outside here and there just to, I don't know, sometimes I feel like the little pieces of clutter really just bring the lot to life. Here I go again, just getting carried away with the greenery, but I can't help it, y'all. I really love a lush green lot in this game. Go back, add a couple of extra windows. I really love natural lighting in a bathroom, so I put that in here. I fear that sometimes I'm falling into the beige syndrome, where everything kind of becomes a shade of beige, but in fairness, I do try to change up the textures, which is kind of what keeps it interesting. And of course, I can't resist a pop of color, so once I move on from the bathroom, I'm going to move into the 2 bedrooms that basically border the patio. One of the things that really just struck me with this property when I was looking through the pictures online, a number of the bedrooms had sliding glass doors directly out to the pool area, and I just thought that was so gorgeous, and I just loved that like vibe in a house. So we did that here, although because those 2 bedrooms, I ended up putting them right together, and they're actually kind of the same size. I kind of built them together. Now, I gave them each their own little flavor, their own little color scheme, if you will, but still kind of the same elements. So it really was just a bed, a desk, a computer, a nightstand, an accent table or 2. But the thing that I saw in the actual property that I wanted to include in this build was basically like an entire wall of, it said wall of cupboards, so like cabinets, just like a whole wall of like cabinets and dressers in the bedroom, which makes complete sense. I was fighting the urge to put a TV in there, but it wasn't necessary. Now, let's see. Yep, the kitchen. So I do love that fridge that we got with the kitchen clutter, I believe, kit. I also feel like I might have like worn myself out on the life and death kitchen. So now I'm like wearing myself out on the new base game kitchen that we got this year. I put a range, but there was also like this like little heater kind of thing in the reference pictures. So I put that in the living room. I guess I figured, even in a mild winter, it would still be nice to warm the house if need be. As you can see, I did put these like Greco-Roman type columns in. I ended up deciding against it. I felt like it fed into the fancy vibe, but it just, I don't know. It really just, it was one of those things where like I put it in, I was fine with it, and then I saved, came back the next day, and I was like, Clayton, why did you do this? I also kind of had that same type of experience with the floors. I was thinking I could get creative and put different like harder floor types around the house, but really I went back to the reference picture again, and it really was just ultimately the same floor across the home, and honestly I don't really mind it. I love a rug, so you just throw a rug in and boom, transforms the space, right? Now, I wanted to mention what I did here with these like little, I don't want to say like quote unquote bay window type things. I saw a like tip on TikTok, I can't remember exactly who it was, but they basically said to flip around to the outside and put those base game shelves like within the popping out portion of that window, and then you can put things very easily on that bay window, and I just thought that was brilliant, so I did it. Now, I still have really been focusing on making the builds that I put out here playable, like I guess a step further, not just playable but also like with gameplay in mind. Now, a little tip from a Sims 4 builder, and I'm no expert, but I do have, a good idea here and there. So when you're working on your floor plan, a lot of people will tell you, think of or try to plan out where the Sims are going to walk, like what paths would they take, where would traffic occur in the house. But I'm going to challenge you to take it a step further. And when you're thinking of these paths of where the Sims are going to walk, also include the thoughts of, what if someone was standing there and they got stuck? Or what if someone was standing there and they're in the way and then your sim can't get to it? Or what if there's a fridge there or an activity there that someone could be using while another sim is going to walk by? I know, ultimately really is just a bunch of what ifs and what if, but I just know that I try to fight putting everything up against the wall because ultimately sometimes that just feels a little too realistic for my game. If you're watching this and you're seeing me put together this like cupboard, closet, cabinet number, almost every piece came from the Dream Home Decorator pack, which is still the most confusing add-on that I think I've ever seen in this game. And what makes it worse is that it was literally like targeted for an audience of someone like me that loves to build in the game. It's just confusing because it's a game pack, so really it's supposed to like center around gameplay, and I don't really think of building in the game as gameplay. I kind of think of it as like a sandbox creative type process. So they like crossed over this sandbox creative process mode in the game with actual like gameplay and careers. And I don't know, and maybe it's just one of those things that like it was great in concept, but in execution or in reality, it just wasn't as good. All of that to say, the build buy items that came with that pack are great. Let me stop ragging on the Dream Home Decorator pack because the gameplay part of it, wham. But the build buy gave us this incredible flexibility to create things like this, like these little cupboard, closet type situations. Another thing that I realized that I was sleeping on that I decided to add in this build were the RGB lights that came with, I think, the Discover University pack. Them things light the fuck up, and it looks really cool. I guess I kind of pictured this as like a teen's room or young adult, maybe college student. I use the Dream Home Decorator desk, but I still use the comfy gamer computer. I actually use the comfy gamer computer again. I feel like it's like quicksand or something. Like as soon as I start using the comfy gamer stuff, then I just put it all in there because it's like one little thing looks cute, but then if I add the rest of it that goes with it all in this little gaming corner, it's precious. Okay, it's still one of my favorite kits. Now, another kit that I want to mention that I made sure to include pieces from was the restoration kit that we got this year. I haven't really gotten a chance to play with it as much, but I do still think it's a pretty cool idea to implement. Like, I know it's not really a gameplay kit, but the pieces have gameplay elements, and I don't want to say it's good enough for me, but I was very happy to see them doing something like that. It was more than just a decorative piece to add to the game. And don't get me wrong, I love decorative pieces. However, I also love CC, and there are plenty of, simmers just like us that make decorative pieces that EA could never. Now, confession, I do have another build that I kind of started with this mod in my game. It was going to be a house. It was inspired by a picture of like a structure that I saw from a street in Nigeria. I kind of went in a different direction, ended up doing the South African inspired home. Y'all let me know if you're liking this whole around the world type number. I do have a couple other ideas, but ultimately, if you're liking this, seeing a Sims 4 builder build in an African savanna mod, let me know, because I might take that other house that I started and like transform it into like a recreation center or something. I think that could be cool. Like I said, this African savanna mod doesn't really give us any gameplay, so maybe we could just create lots for it, I bet you if I did my homework, there's probably someone out there that wrote a legacy in The Sims 4 that follows some African lore. If y'all know of one, drop it in the comments for anybody that might want to, take their gameplay in that direction. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. I did a third wall of cabinets just because I kind of really, I liked how it looked. I figured, in this room right here, I put the mood board, kind of thinking of it being like a command center, if you will, for the house. Like basically mom's way of keeping up with everything that's going on and tucking it away right here in the nursery / master bedroom. Now, I said I didn't really want to clutter too much, but if this is a room that's supposed to house like 3 different people and one of them is a toddler or a baby, I made sure to include a good bit of toys, so I cluttered a little bit more in this last room than I did pretty much in the rest of the build. I should say in the house, because I did clutter some plants outside, but anywho, like I said, some restoration hardware stuff. I think I did is it a flower arranging table? I did a tattoo table, and yeah, the apothecary. So we are coming to the end of the speed build, and as always, I'm going to do a little tour right here at the end. Y'all be sure to go check out Chicken Pop Sims on YouTube. My consultant for this build also does speed builds himself, and they are wonderful. But yeah, thanks so much for watching today, you guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, you know the deal. Stay tuned, because we'll probably be moving to another part of the world soon. Anywho, I hope you have a beautiful week. Love you, bye!
Gets cold, it's turning